In this video, I'm gonna rank every single weapon category in Fortnite history from worst to best. I'm ranking these categories by the weapons that are a part of them. So for example, the Ranger weapon category will be ranked based on the Ranger pistol, Ranger shotgun, and Ranger AR. That's just a quick example. But to narrow down the list, I'm only ranking weapon categories that have 3 or more weapons as a part of them because, 2 weapons just felt like a pairing and not a whole group or category of weapons. So with that being said, some honorable mentions that won't be on this list are like the Evo Chrome category, the Twin Mag weapons, the Havoc weapons, the Kinetic weapons, and even the charge items, right? You only have the charge shotgun and the charge SMG. And obviously, I'm sure there's other weapon categories that I'm forgetting to put here. If you do go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave it a like, subscribe. We are pushing for 100,000 subscribers, and use code TYFRYZ in the Fortnite item shop when you get the chance. But with all that being said, let's get into the ranking. So at number 10, very clearly in last place, the worst weapon category is going to be the makeshift weapons. This category consists of the makeshift rifle, the makeshift shotgun, the makeshift SMG, the makeshift revolver, and of course the makeshift bow. No surprise to anybody who's watched my channel for an extended period of time, you'll know Chapter 2 Season 6 is my least favorite, and weapons like the makeshift weapons are the exact reason why. They're just incredibly weak and underpowered, and look, I know they were designed to be that way. They're designed to be your bottom of the barrel weapons, but unfortunately that doesn't help their case on a list like this. This list was a pretty difficult one to make, but this last place spot was really easy for me to pick. Number 9 are the sideways weapons. This is going to consist of the sideways rifle, the sideways minigun, and the sideways scythe. And so by only having 3 weapons, that really means that, you really got to have 3 solid weapons, or at least decent, and that's not really what you get here. The sideways rifle is pretty mid, I would argue. Definitely not a top tier or even mid-tier assault rifle at all. Same thing for the sideways minigun. Like, if you forced me to pick it up, yeah, I think I could do some damage with it, but I was not willingly taking this weapon into battle. And the sideways scythe is the same thing, right? Like, it is not my go-to melee weapon. I don't even think it's in like the top 5 or maybe even top 10 melee weapons of all time. Decent mobility, I guess, but all of these weapons are just pretty lackluster, and that's why the sideways category is all the way down here at the bottom. Moving on to number 8, that's going to be the mechanical weapons. This only consists of 3 weapons: the mechanical bow, the mechanical explosive bow, and of course the mechanical shockwave bow. The regular mechanical bow, is what it is, I guess. You're really looking at the explosive bow and the shockwave bow here to make a difference. The explosive bow is not one of the best bows we've ever seen, but it's certainly not one of the worst bows we've ever seen. And you can actually do some decent damage with it here. The real standout is the shockwave bow. If the mechanical shockwave bow didn't exist, this weapon class would be horrible, but the shockwave bow really genuinely saves it. It is one of the best mobility items of all time. It's one of the best bows of all time. And to be quite frank with you, it's one of the best items in Chapter 2 Season 6, maybe even the best. Also, I probably should note here that this list is only weapon classes. I'm not doing any like non-weapon classes like, grappler or shockwave, although I guess there are some shockwave weapons. You guys get the point. I just want to make sure I mention that somewhere in this video before I forget. At number 7 is going to be the Primal weapon class. This is a ton of weapons, so kind of gear up here. Primal assault rifle, shotgun, SMG, pistol, bow, and the Primal flame bow, as well as the stink bow. So you've got a ton of weapons here, right? But not really many great ones. They're all just kind of middle of the road. I mean, what I will say is the Primal weapon category was arguably the best in Chapter 2 Season 6, at least in terms of the new ones. Primal AR is decent. Primal shotgun is pretty bad. Primal SMG, though, is very, very good. I've said this multiple times, but it's one of the few weapons I feel like you could actually take out of the bubble that is Chapter 2 Season 6, throw it into regular Battle Royale, and actually get some uses. But the rest, Primal pistol, absolutely horrible. Regular Primal bow, I'm not crazy about. And the flame bow and stink bow, while they do have their use cases, are not anywhere near something like the shockwave bow. You're really looking at the Primal AR here and the Primal SMG that really save this weapon category. At number 6, I've got what I consider to be an underrated category. It is the Ranger weapon category. And as I mentioned in the intro, that contains the Ranger pistol, Ranger shotgun, and Ranger assault rifle. 3 pretty decent weapons. The Ranger pistol disrespect needs to be stopped, right? I just saw Cypher PK made a ranking every pistol video, and he put the Ranger pistol way too far down on that list. It is a really, really good pistol, and in case you didn't know, this is actually the pistol that you use with the ballistic shield, and if you've ever used that thing, it's really strong. It's a pistol though, right, at the end of the day, so, how much weight can I give it? The Ranger shotgun is very, very good as well. I really love the Ranger shotgun. I think it's an underrated shotgun. That's because it's a high skill, high risk, high reward type weapon. You get such a small pellet spread that if you are able to land a shot with the Ranger, you are going to be doing almost 100 damage plus every single time, and that means you have great range. The problem is if you miss that first shot and you're in a box with somebody, you can almost, just go right back to the lobby because you have to reload the whole shotgun and it just doesn't work. So if this shotgun is used the right way, it is actually really, really good. I've seen some of the best players in the world be absolutely insane with the Ranger shotgun. And the Ranger AR is pretty serviceable, actually. I was a Ranger assault rifle hater for the longest time, very similar to how I am now with the Nemesis AR. Those two weapons to me are almost identical. But after watching more gameplay of the Ranger, I'm like, perhaps I treated you too harshly because it's actually kind of decent. In my book, it's basically just a better version of the AK, which is, of course, another weapon we will see up on this list. The Ranger weapon class, though, I'm actually a fan. Moving on to number 5, I've got the suppressed weapon class. This is going to consist of the Havoc suppressed assault rifle. That's all versions of it, including the Mythic, the suppressed assault rifle, SMG, pistol, and bolt action sniper. Now, you should note that there are other suppressed weapons on this list that are not here as part of the suppressed weapon category. That's because they don't have suppressed in the name, and that's how I'm categorizing these weapons, especially on the Fortnite wiki, by what is in their name. So something like the Veiled Precision SMG or the Shadow Tracker, those are suppressed weapons, but since they don't have suppressed in the name, they're not going to be on this list. So again, something else I wanted to make note of in this video. There's a reason why I have this weapon category at the literal 50% halfway mark on this list, because I feel like every single weapon on this list is the definition of mid. I mean, the Havoc suppressed assault rifle is definitely less than that. I think that thing sucks, but the suppressed SCAR, SMG, and pistol to an extent are all just very mid weapons. They're not the top of their class, but definitely not the worst of their class either. And it's literally the same thing with the suppressed bolt. Like, I think a lot of you guys are going to agree in the comment section, these weapons are all very middle of the road. And that's not a bad thing, right? But that is just my rationale as to why they land at the 50% mark on this list. At number 4, I've got one of the more overrated weapon classes in my opinion. That is the heavy weapons. And this is going to consist of the heavy assault rifle, the AK obviously, the heavy shotgun, both the old and new version of it, the heavy sniper, and the heavy impact sniper. The heavy assault rifle, or the AK as a lot of you guys know it as, is not a great assault rifle. I know there's some real truthers and absolute lovers of this weapon, but to me that bloom is just out of control. Obviously, your slow firing, heavy hitting assault rifle, it's just not my go-to weapon choice. And I would say the same thing about both versions of the heavy shotgun. Yes, especially with the old version, you can get some serious work done, but the new version, the slug round version, yeah, I don't touch that thing. I'm staying far, far away from it. And the heavy sniper, even though it has been nerfed a ton, is still a decent weapon. Obviously, it's not, the best sniper of all time like it used to be, but still 120 damage plus. That is a big shot. One shot headshot, of course. I really can't argue against that. But the heavy impact sniper, in my opinion, is what saves this weapon category. I mean, there is an argument this is the best sniper of all time. Now, I'm not saying it's better than the Reaper sniper rifle, but I think you could try and make the argument that this is better than it. It literally is just a better version of the regular heavy sniper. There's really nothing else to say about it. Honestly, it doesn't really make sense why the heavy impact is even in the game. Like I said, it's basically just a better version of a weapon that's already here. But with that all being said, I think as a package, the heavy weapons are decent, better than mid, but not crazy. But I think now that we're inside the top 3, these are by far the 3 best weapon classes. They're all pretty stacked, and at the number 3 spot is the tactical weapons. Obviously, that is going to include the tactical assault rifle, and that being all versions of it, the tac shotgun, the tactical SMG, the tactical pistol, and the tactical DMR. The tac AR is pretty mid for the most part, besides the Chapter 2 Remix version. The Chapter 2 Remix tac AR really helps this weapon category out a ton. Same thing with the tac shotgun, right? Like, it's just an absolute classic Fortnite weapon. Everybody loves the tac shotgun. There's a reason it has stuck around for like 8 years now. Tac versus pump it. It's the age-old debate, especially in the purple and legendary version. That shotgun is absolutely beefy. And we can't forget about the tactical pistol, right? I mean, this is one of the best pistols of all time, bar none, right? I would put it definitely inside my top 5 and maybe an argument for even the top 3. It literally does damage like an AR and SMG, but with the handling of a pistol. Combine a couple of really good augments with this thing, and you are going to be absolutely feasting. But you know what? The tactical DMR, we don't really need to talk about that on this list. That thing sucks. But I think this weapon class is beaten out by the combat weapons at the number 2 spot. And I've actually done an entire video comparing the tactical and combat weapons, so be sure to go check that video out. But this weapon class does not have a bad weapon in it. You get the combat assault rifle, that being all the versions of it. Same thing with the combat shotgun, the combat SMG, and the combat pistol. The first 3 I mentioned, those are all very good weapons. I would even argue maybe some great weapons in there. The combat pistol, while yes, still lacking, is, in my opinion, in at least the top 50% of pistols we've ever seen. I mean, the combat AR absolutely shreds. Even when it was a projectile in Chapter 5, Season 3. I'm thinking like the Machinist Combat AR, that thing's still absolutely melted. And same thing with the Combat Shotgun. Of course, you get the Season 9 Combat Shotgun, but also Megalodon's Combat Shotgun, Chapter 5, Season 3 territory once again. Some would argue, you know, maybe even the best shotgun for especially Zero build in that season. The Combat SMG, do I really even need to explain? There was a time when this was the best weapon maybe in Fortnite history we'd ever seen. It's been nerfed a bunch, but still, I think you could go out there and ask people what the best SMG is, and a lot of people would probably try and make an argument for the Combat SMG. And, you know, like I said with the Combat Pistol, it's nothing crazy, but still a decent pistol. So yeah, overall, you could see why the Combat Weapon class ranks so highly. But at my number 1 spot, and I think by a landslide, the best weapon category in Fortnite history are the heisted weapons. Finally, some exotic weapons getting some love on my channel. These weapons are the heisted explosive AR, the heisted accelerant shotgun, the heisted breacher shotgun, the heisted blink mag SMG, and the run and gun SMG. I would, you know, go as far as to say every single weapon in this category is a great Fortnite weapon. I think the weakest of the bunch would probably be like the run and gun SMG, but even at that, this is an SMG that can still compete with the best of the best. The blink mag SMG is one of the best SMGs in Fortnite history. Same thing with the accelerant shotgun. It is by far one of the best shotguns. I would say definitely within the top 3. And in the right hands, the breacher could be in that conversation as well. And while I don't hold the explosive assault rifle in, you know, the same respect that I do for some of the other weapons in this category, it is still very, very good, and you still get really good work done with it. If that projectile would just travel a little bit faster, this thing would be absolutely dominant. In my opinion, it is by far the best weapon class we've ever seen in Fortnite history. All right, guys, well, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of this video. Are there any weapon classes that you felt like I missed? It's very possible. There is nowhere on the internet I can go and just look up every weapon category in Fortnite and them all just show up in a very neat list. Like, for example, the shockwave weapon class potentially could have been on this list. I left it off, but if you were to make this video and include these shockwave weapons, I think you could be in the right to do so. With all that being said, be sure to leave this video a like if you did enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. As always, peace.